From the top to the bottom, at the core, I forgot, in the middle of my thoughts. Take it.
What's good, YouTube? Yo, boy 21 here, bringing you guys another episode of Cards Keep / Cards for Sale. And on today's episode, I'm going to bring you guys my top 5 cards to pick up from the next challenge. So let's begin. I'm going to start off by saying these top 5 cards aren't your obvious. Like, for example, they're not going to be like, okay, pick up Full of Orbs or pick up your Shadows or whatever. It's not going to be none of that shit. It's going to be my top 5 cards I think are going to be the best text in the future. Some cards might be better sooner than later. And they're going to be, some cards are maybe casual for now and maybe really competitive later. But I think all of these cards are good pickups because they all have potential to be amazing. And just right now, the way the game is going, Shadows, Burns Abyss, Telenites, and the up-and-coming Necros in January, well, February, the game is going to be a super speedy pace. But with all that being said, these cards are always going to be good pickups because, like I said, they're all solid good cards, and a lot of them are fairly cheap. Starting off with number 5, that is Knight Dragolic. Knight Dragolic is a card that basically says, while he's on the field, all special summon monsters that are wyverns get changed to defense mode. And their defense gets reduced by their attack. And something along those lines, the effect will be on the screen if I mess with some effect. 1700 attack, 0 defense. He's a wyvern, he's not a dragon. And the picture art, in my opinion, is pretty badass. Why is this card a good pickup? Well, obviously the card is pretty good because it's Full of Orbs. They all go to defense mode if he's on the field, that way he's stunning them. And honestly, I can see this card being used against stun decks for the future because used in stun decks for the future because the card basically says all your monsters stay in defense mode, you can just run them over, is really strong. Now the 1700 attack is a little on the weak side, and yes, he don't stop everything, so he only stops monsters that are special from the deck and or extra deck. But that being said, his effect is powerful enough, knowing that we're into a special summon monster format. So like I said, Fleet Force, Heroes, Shadows, there's not going to be a lot of people to beat over him. So I can see him in a deck that sets 5, summon him pass, can be really good. Equipping him with what the hell is that card? I am so terrible card names, guys. It is ridiculous. Anyway, I'll put the card picture on the screen when I think of the name. With Safe Zone, there we go. Equip with a Safe Zone, or have them teamed up with a Fossil Dino, play Stella Recalcos. Honestly, I think Stella Recalcos viability is going up. But that's another video for another day, so yeah. Yeah, pick this card up. He's only $5 right now, so for a card that's fairly cheap that you probably can get for less than $5, and this is sneak peek prices, so pick them up. Why not? Because on set release it's probably gonna be like $250 or $350, aka South Park Boys. Next up, Machina Mega Form. Now, you guys already know I am a Machina Gear player now. Rest in peace, Gadgets. I miss my Gadget deck, but yeah. Anyway, Machina Mega Form is basically a card that effect states you can trigger him to special summon a Machina monster from your deck. He is an 8-star, meaning he can get from the Fortress, and his secondary effect is while you have a Machina Fortress on the field that is sent to the graveyard, except during the damage step, you can banish the Fortress from your graveyard, especially on the graveyard. He has 2600 attack. Defense is pretty much irrelevant because no one would piss him off in defense nowadays. And this is pretty good because in my deck, you can use Call 100, bring them back, tribute, bring out a Fortress from the deck. Fortress, let's say, for example, you attack a Fortress, they have Mirror Force, some you can banish Fortress, bring them out. It's just a good card to use that's better than Cannon. And I think, honestly, it makes Machina decks a lot more viable. In Japan, a while ago, I want to say about a year ago, they were running pure Machina decks that were pretty good, and the whole goal is to abuse Fortress. So you guys already know, Machina Fortress effective when you destroy a battle, pop a card in the field, and if you destroy a monster card effect, or say targeted by a monster card effect, looking for a panic, this card's graveyard. Now, the way the game is going right now, he's not going to do too much damage. I mean, against Cliff Orbs, he can pop Pendulum Zone. But like I said, once again, for the future, I can see, honestly, make a Machina deck or a deck that run a Machina engine be very viable. So let's all be honest with ourselves. This is early in this format. If you guys follow the trends, this is also going to be another video. If you guys follow the trends of Konami, the decks that we usually get in the winter aren't really the decks that are going to be the better decks for summer. I mean, there are some small instances where that happens, but usually the overpowered decks we have now, especially since Konami is going to hold separate ban lists from the OCG and the TCG, aren't really the most powerful by national season. So somewhere down the line, I can see Machina Fortress being played, and it doesn't hurt to pick up at least 1 or 2 copies of the card. The card is currently sitting at $3, so the card's so cheap, get it and throw in as a trade when you're trading for your set also. So it might be one of the best decks one day. So if you guys are one of the best deck players, I can honestly see this card being abused in a Machina-based deck. Not saying the Machina will be one of the best decks, but I can say the Machina engine will be used and abused in the future one day. And if everything goes well at Air Chicago, you guys will definitely pick this card up. I'm gonna make this card up with 12 price. Next up, Rescue Hamster. Now, all of the rescue monsters from Rescue Cat to Rescue Rabbit has been pretty good, and Rescue Hamster is pretty much subpar to his brethren, but at the same time it's pretty good. As you guys already know, Rescue Hamster effect is while he's in the Pendulum Zone, you can tribute him to add 2 Pendulum monsters from the extra of the same name back to him. I think that's level 5 or higher. Effect will be on stream as all the other cards were. And his other effect is, let me pull it up real quick. I forgot it. During turns card's normal summon, if you have a face-up level 5 or lower Pendulum monster in your extra, you can tribute this card. Choose 1 face-up level 5 or lower Pendulum monster in your extra deck, and special summon 2 monsters in your deck with the same name as that card. Their effects are negated. Tons of potential in that card. Very tons. And he's a super running at $6. And since we already know we're in a Pendulum era, why not pick the staples of Pendulums up? Like I said in my last card sale, Odd Eyes is one of those cards that you want to pick up and hold on, and this definitely falls under the same category as Odd Eyes. We're in the Pendulum era, guys, so anything that's strong support Pendulums, let's get it right now. Get it, because they will go up in price in the future. Same thing happened a long time ago with Tour Guide. Tour Guides started off fairly cheap and they went up. Same thing happened with everything else. You gotta get these cards cheap now, but they run up in price. I keep freaking out a lot. So pick up Rescue Hamster. The little bastard's only $6. Not gonna break the pockets. Once again, it's another throwing card, and this is sneak peek price. So once it's at release, especially since it's super rare, $2, $3, $5 max. Next up, Denko Sekka. This card is probably going to be 40 to 50 once a YCF drops with new stuff being legal, and once Necros come out. Because this card is really good. If you guys have to remember my epic card reviews on it, I'll have a link to the screen right here. The card effect basically reads, when he's summoned, he shuts off back row in so many different words, and that will be on screen as always. And pretty much that is, excuse me, that is very, very powerful. Reason being, you summon him up against a deck like my deck that has all back row. Now I can't chain on my back row. And then you just spam out monsters from your hand, and you just run over everything, and it's just a free floater. And if I have no way to get rid of them, I lose. And then if you can summon, you can set your cards and set your back row and summon him. You can his channel back row like Wing Blast, like this, for example, you set Wing Blast, summon him, pass. Your opponent say, okay, I can do stuff now because they have something set, they summon their monster, you Wing Blast their monster or whatever. Now they can't set back row because they're gonna be screwed. And then you just deface them. And the Thunder type light monster, honest. So yeah. The card has a lot of potential, and it's already sitting at $20. So a lot of you guys are already hit to the card, and I could just imagine the card going up in the future. Get them now where it's 20 because the card will be more expensive, and then just in the future it is a ultra rare. I can see it being 30 to 50, honestly. And last but not least, Solemn Scolding, because who don't love their Solemn cards? The Solemn cards are telling a history of being very powerful in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I guarantee you Solemn Scolding will be the same. When this next challenge set was first released in Japan, I remember seeing a few decks using Solemn Scolding, and I can imagine the same trend being used here in the US. The card is really phenomenal. You pay 3,000 life points while it's the only card set in your back row. Then get from a monster. Basically, it's a solemn judgment, but you're paying the actual life points this time. But the only catch is it has to be the only card in your back row. Now, people aren't really running MST like that, which is good. So if you can use this card to just negate the summon from monster, you're good. Because I can see things like, okay, set this summon, let's say set this that armor path. My opponent goes, let's say I'm playing against life points at all, summon Lilo. Okay, some advice, get Lilo out of the way. They're like, okay, whatever, pass. Or they try to shout off you and negate it. They're like, okay, pass. My turn. I already opened up with a bottomless, a warning, whatever. Now I'm gonna set all my other back row, flip armor, go off, and then yeah, I play my Solemn Judgment. Okay, now man, I use 5,000 life points. I'm at 3,000 life points now, and I'm gonna be pretty much ahead because I already set my opponent back 2 turns where negating 2 of their plays, and it's pretty much over. For you guys that remember when Solemn Judgment and warning was at 2, life points don't mean shit anymore. You negate 2 of your opponent's summons, the game is pretty much over. Like I preached on my channel, I remember back in 2012 format, for you guys that didn't play back then, if your opponent resolved 2 solemn warnings on you, it was pretty much game over. And it was retarded because, like, I remember a game specifically, I was playing Wind at the time, and I was like round 7, round 8, the guy was terrible in windups, and I was on the bubble X2, and the guy went first, set 3 back row, pass. No, I went first. I couldn't open Magician Shark to save my fucking life, and I played Wind Up Circle. And I was running Junk Floors and Hunters and etc. The deck was really good, and it got really far, and I was doing the entire format because of it. As I'm sure a lot of you Wind Up players were, but mine was a turbo Japanese version, so it was kind of faster than the American version. And my opponent literally set 3, summon Rabbit Pass, and we were going back and forth, but he beat me by Rabbit Beatdown because his back row was Solemn Warning, Solemn Judgment. GG, no freaking read, and I couldn't do nothing about that. So, what that lets me know, especially since people like to run Upstart Goblin now, why not run at least 2 to 1 copy of this card in the deck? Because if the worst case scenario, you're going to be stopping one of your opponent's best cards. Best case scenario, you can set this alongside a lot of your other back row. They aim a blind MST, okay, fuck it, they blind MST that, you get the other back row. You use up everything and you don't use this card, they think this card is a bluff, so they try to go off, pay your 3,000, and beat face in. I believe honestly this card has a lot of potential, and I can see it going up in the distant future. Right away, probably won't happen because OTK is a format, Cliff Forks are just spam, but once we figure out a consistent way to beat Cliff Forks, by the way, how to beat Cliff Forks video, I already made it on my channel. If you guys that don't know, link will be in the description below. So once us as TCG players find our consistent ways to beat the Cliff Forks deck, this card is going to be up because it's terrible against Cliff Forks matchup, but it's good against everything else. Like I said, stopping 2 to 3 of your opponent's big plays is really key to winning the duel. So, with all that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up to show your support. And as always, comment down in the comment section below what were you guys' top 5 from picks from the next challenge to be. Also, comment down in the comment section below how did you guys sneak peek went. I didn't go to sneak peek because I had to work, but I know one of my shops I went to try to make some trades at sold all of their kits to a anonymous walk-in buyer, which is very illegal, so I'm not going to mention the shop name, but that's Yu-Gi-Oh for you. So yeah, as always, this is Yellow21 and I'm out. Rate, comment, subscribe, guys. Deuces, have a good day. Bang.